wonderful, because sometimes that plays up. So welcome everybody. A formal welcome to all of you live on the call. And for those of you who are linking in later, welcome to our sacred space, which is created and held that no matter what time you join us and come in, you are an essential part of the process, that we are all working in this sort of space and time, if you like, that is beyond our 3D linear comprehension anyway. So we welcome everybody to this very special solstice process, and all of the astrological alignments that we have worked with this year have really been phenomenal in terms of the way that they have aligned with gap days, the way that they have aligned with, we've had equinoxes and eclipses, and we've had all sorts of astrological confluences which have been compounding the energetics of what we've been dealing with through these very special cosmic windows and cosmic moments, if you like, and opportunities that we have. And this one is no exception. We go straight into a new moon tomorrow. So, and the actual solstice is, in fact, this evening. So we essentially go through this solstice, which is a 3-day period anyway, into a new moon. And the new moon is the perfect time for actually setting the intentions for clearing the slate. The dark moon, as they call it, is the time to actually go within. And of course, winter solstice is a time when, certainly in the northern hemisphere, the sun is actually at its lowest point over the horizon, that we have the shortest day and the longest period of night. So we essentially are walking between worlds. We're walking in the darkness, in the void, in the place and space of the goddess. It is real, divine, feminine time that we are working with at the moment. Through the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. And of course, it's balanced in the southern hemisphere by a connection with the more masculine energy, because here we're actually moving through the darkness into the masculine energy, and in the southern hemisphere they're moving through the light, the heightened longest day, into the feminine energy. So they're moving through the masculine into the feminine energy. So again, we still have a planetary balance that is actually held. And I like to think of it, you might want to use this image of a beautiful yin yang symbol weaving its way around the earth, and I always encase it with an enormous diamond. Christina, welcome. Lovely to see you here as well. So glad that you could actually join us live. So it's always wonderful when we have combined energies and so many beautiful souls sharing their energies live on this call. So what I'm going to do is the slides that I've actually prepared for you this afternoon are not full of writing as they normally are. And I usually have, sort of a bit of a splab and some sharings with you before we go into the process itself. And I just didn't feel that it was actually that necessary this afternoon. So I'm not going to waste too much time talking with you, save to share with you, obviously, the image of the white buffalo. She is sacred. She is holy. If you've read Gillian Macbeth Lowthan's link that I actually put in the newsletter, she's got a beautiful description of the understanding of white buffalo medicine, and it is white buffalo medicine that we are working with. But one of the really powerful elements and aspects of white buffalo that really struck me was that she is the embodiment of this balance between the earth and the cosmic, between Gaia and the heavens. If you like, through her strong body, she is earthed and very connected to the ground. And then with her huge head and her massive intelligence, she has the scope within her brain and her nervous system to actually connect with a multitude of cosmic energies. So she's a beautiful embodiment of that, being a living bridge between the two. So her support during this particular process that we're going through, I feel, is going to be invaluable, because we need the strength and support and the framework and the structure as we go through this final purging in order to cross the threshold into a new energetic space, which happens through the solstices. And certainly at the moment, as I say, with the new moon, with the Uranus-Pluto square, with the astrological configurations as they are, there's a wonderful new space being created, much of which is actually unknown. So we're going to need to purge whatever is blocking the way of us reconnecting with our spiritual energy, our creative flow, the inspiration that keeps us going. Because many of us, and I'm sure you'd agree, are tired. They're feeling the fatigue of at least the last few years of really going in deep, of clearing, of aligning, of working with constant influxes of new energy. So I look forward to connecting with White Buffalo in this session. Now, one of the things that I've just put on this slide is something that I came across, and this is what I've actually adapted to use today, was a wonderful ceremony that was mentioned in some work that I'm actually reading and going through by Francis Weller. I included a link to a presentation, a talk that he did in the last newsletter that I sent out. And I find his work to be very profound, very deep, and he works certainly at a planetary level. And he conducts a regular ceremony, generally round about the solstice as well, which is called renewing the world. And I've just adapted this and I've called it renewing the soul of the world. And as we go through this, you'll see that it's about renewing our own soul. The process is about renewing our own soul for the journey that lies ahead of us. And as we do that, we actually are purging and we are supporting the renewal of the soul of the world at the same time. And White Buffalo is a representation of the world soul. She's actually here and has returned to remind us, if you like, to reconnect us with the soul of the world, that everything is not about us as individuals, it's about our place and the role that we play in the health of the soul of the world. You know, I sometimes call it the collective. So this is really a sacred ceremony. And I don't think anything more really needs to be said about that because it's going to be in the experience and the connection with this sacred essence as we go through it. And then the light code that I am going to work with that made itself known is the cycles light code. And I just love this one. I love them all. I mean, I do say that when I'm actually working with them, as somebody said, but you say you love them all when you actually bring them out. And I do. But the light codes are symbols or structures that are actually composed of light. That is exactly how I see them. They are living light, living forms, living geometries. And the cycles light code reminds us that we are part of an eternal cycle of life. And through the solstice, and through the solstices, this is a reminder of the cycles of life because through the winter period in the north, well, no matter where we are, but through the winter period, we have the die-off, we have the senescence of the leaves that fall. So we almost grieve the loss of the sun, the loss of summer, the loss of that warmth, that external warmth that feeds us as everything falls to the ground and becomes the fuel and the food for the new life that is actually going to emerge. So there's a symbolic representation of what we're experiencing going through the solstice. But cycles reminds us that there are times to be out there in the world, there are times to go within to constrict. And through it all, we have, if you look at this, you have this swirling sacred fire in the center that feeds all. So it either transmutes during the internal phases, it transmutes everything into the compost and the fuel for new life, or it is what actually gives us the inspiration and the energy to take our essence and broadcast our essence out there in the world. So I just love this code and what it represents and manifests for us. So we're going to work with this through the process as well. So hello Rashida, hello Pamela. We've got a few more people who've actually come in to join us, which is just wonderful. Tanya, so glad you could make it too. That's fab. Hello. Wonderful. Welcome, welcome. Your timing is perfect. So with that being said, does anybody have any sort of questions, any comments, anything that they would like to share? Pamela's wonderful. I know you said you weren't sure if you could actually join us live, so it's lovely to see you, all of you. Anything that anybody would like to share or contribute or comment on before we go into the process itself? There got a few of you that are typing. I know the synchronicities about around people connecting with white buffalo have been really quite amazing. Ah, Barbara, wonderful, wonderful. I'm so pleased. That's going to be interesting to see how your connection with white buffalo is through that. For those of you that may not be aware of it, I was actually drawn and I've created the first 6 sacred white animal essences. Processing fear of masculine, pain down the right leg. Yeah, it is really interesting because we are moving through this into reworking with our masculine energy in a different way. It's the 4th of Advent here, so just lit the 4 candles seems to be a good sign. Wonderful, wonderful. If you guys could just give me a moment or two here as well. I saw Nancy was typing something. Siri doesn't seem to be able to connect in. I don't know if her she doesn't realize that the text was not HTML. Um, Nancy lit 2 candles, one white, one purple. Oh, I love that because there is an element of the purple flame of transformation through the work that we're doing. So lovely, Nancy. Don't worry. I don't worry about typo errors in the chat room because I know that it's usually done from mobile devices and all sorts of things, and keyboards tend to be a little bit smaller and rushing to get typing done. Been working with the violet flame of transmutation with amazing results. Violet is very pertinent actually for what we're doing at the moment because there's an element through this process of grief and of acknowledging loss. And that's going to be a part and parcel of the ceremony, if you like, that we're doing. And of course, violet is a color that's associated with reconnecting with the divine, with transmutation of grief and loss into beauty. So, through the color therapy work that I do, that's been very, very relevant. So there's powerful connections there. So the synchronicities are always beautiful. I just would like to just give Siri a minute or so and see if she can actually join in. Hi, Ellie. Oh, Ellie, you were typing something there? Nope. Okay. Okay, everybody. Oh, okay. Siri's just trying to log in. Okay, that's fab. Let's just see if she can get in. Sorry, everybody. I hope you don't mind. I just got an email from somebody who was struggling to work the links. So I would like to just hold it so that she can join us. Sense has been of white buffalo holding space. Yes, absolutely, with strength to allow us to feel grief and release emotion, which you said before I typed. Oh, Ellie, thank you. I love the synchronicities of it. It just is so powerful. I actually found myself this morning just very unexpectedly in a place again where I was experiencing the movement and the flow of that grief. And it's not all about, sort of necessarily the specific loss that I went through that most of you know about in October, but that is the trigger for reconnection with layers of grief. And that's often what we don't acknowledge, what we don't realize is the layers of grief that we perhaps have not acknowledged. It's grief for what's happening with the planet, and that's part of the renewal that we need to work with. Because through grief, and when we acknowledge it through that flow, we expand the extent of our connection. And that is also why I said earlier, I really feel that White Buffalo has actually made herself known for this, for the strength that she actually has in carrying and holding the balance between the heights and the depths so that we can expand our own level of connectivity between the realms. So we really expand our presence in the world through it. So yeah, in order to cross the threshold, we need to let go, we need to sacrifice, and we need to acknowledge everything that's really been sitting with us. So there's a sacrificial element that goes along with this as well. So I hope I haven't scared you all off completely. This is, I know it's going to be quite a powerful session. Okay. Been seeing flashes of violet light on and off for some time. Yeah, lovely. Okay, everybody. If you are all ready, unfortunately, our lovely lady who's actually trying to join us can't seem to connect, so she will listen to the recording later. I know that there will be many of you as well listening to the recording later, so I welcome you all. As I said earlier, into this time space. So if you're ready, that's all you need to know. I'd like you to just hold the visual of this light code. So just spend a few moments doing some deep breathing, connect with the code, so that when you close your eyes, you have a sense or a visual or a connection with this encoded structure of light. So that when we actually come across it later in the meditation, it'll be very easy to recall. So just take a deep breath in as you allow your eyes to rest upon the image. And you take in and imprint it through the optic nerves into your unconscious. As we stand at the threshold of a new cycle, as part of the natural cycles of our earth, along with the sun and the moon, and the greater cosmic cycles in this eternal divine construct within which we experience our physical lives. And I just want to check with you because if I drop my voice and talk a little bit more softly, I just want to make sure you can all hear me. So can you hear me if I'm speaking at that volume, this volume? Yes, you're fine? Okay, wonderful. Loud and clear. That's fabulous, everybody. Okay, wonderful. So now that you've actually got that imprinted, make yourselves comfortable wherever you are and close your eyes. Just gently rest your eyelids as you simply begin taking long, slow, deep breaths in and allowing yourself to rest into this sacred space and place. For wherever you are a sacred space. You hold the sacredness that emanates through you and from you, and you are your own sacred space. So just breathe. Without forcing it. And with each out breath, you release any stress, tension, fatigue that you have been experiencing, any anxiety, any worry. Just breathe it out on your breath as every part of your body and your mind is allowed in this space to rest. And with your breathing now, visualize yourself inside your diamond. In whichever way works for you, whether it's stepping into it, creating it around you, just see that form, a beautiful shimmering octahedral structure of light, the two pyramids joined at the base. And the center of the form aligns itself with the base of your spine and connects with the soul star above your head and through the earth star below your feet to the earth itself, to the pulse and the heartbeat of Gaia. And you allow your breathing and your body to gently come into resonance with the pulse and the beat of Mother Earth herself. And as you breathe, the light shimmers through the fabric and structure of your diamond, of your personal diamond grid, and it breathes with you in harmony, and the stillness deepens. And through the process today, we're going to purge and clear the way in our own bodies in order to expand our presence in the world, to renew our own spirit, and through that renewal, to be an active part of the renewal of the soul of the world through this time of divine darkness. So we withdraw our consciousness from the external world into the darkness within, the home of the divine feminine. But even within that space, there are sparks and hints of light. It is a space and place of darkness and yet humming with the power of ultimate potential. Just allow yourself to see and to sense those threads that run through your inner space, your inner world. And now create for yourself a sacred room. So emerging from this place of infinite potential is a creative essence and energy that builds a room around you. And this room is your sacred room. It is filled with treasures and objects of sacred value that have beauty and meaning for you individually, for you especially. So create this room that is a perfectly protected and safe place to be. Take a good look around at the objects and whatever it is that fills this space. And somewhere in this room is a desk, a beautiful, carved, ornate desk that's been made and created with incredible love. And there is a chair in front of the desk, and on the desk are some sheets of plain white paper, and whatever writing implements are provided just for you. So they may be colored, they may be quill pens, whatever they are. They're writing implements just for you. And in this safe place, you make your way across to the desk and you sit down in front of it, in front of these blank sheets of paper. And you pick up one of the pens or a tool to write with. And on that piece of paper, you begin to make notes of all of the things in your own life that have caused you to experience loss or grief. They may be people, pets, jobs, careers. What dreams have you given up on? It may be health, it may be independence. Allow your body to communicate with you, for all of the losses have been stored within a matrix that has impacted upon the cells and the DNA. And allow yourself to write down on this piece of paper all that represents loss in your own life. And as you do, you feel the energy in your body begin to stir, begin to flow. So I'm going to give you a few moments to make your notes in this space. You may feel your emotional energy beginning to move and flow or release, and all is perfect. And in this space, expand your awareness and your connection now to see and experience and connect with all that the earth, our home, has lost. Connect with Gaia's loss. or losses? What is it specifically that you connect with in respect of these losses or griefs of Gaia, of our home? Is it the ecosystems? Is it the forests? Is it the animals, species? Is it the loss of the beauty of our water supplies and the freshness? Is it the loss of sovereignty, the loss of human life in other geographical areas? What is it specifically? Make a note of all of the things that you now become aware of in terms of the losses of our world. Write them down. For each one becomes a gateway or a doorway in itself into expanded beauty. And allow the energies to flow and to move through you as you acknowledge and make your notes. And now take your attention to the cells of your bodies, to the DNA, and to all of the crystallized, inherited patterns and beliefs and losses that you have inherited from your ancestral lineages. And allow yourself and give the intention to connect with all of the losses experienced by your ancestors. And they can be many, but you will find that as you sit with this process, that whatever is relevant for you will emerge from the cells of your bodies. It could be famines, it could be cataclysms, it could be wars. Whatever it is that has been donated as unresolved loss or grief by your ancestors, allow that to emerge, for here we stand at the threshold and opportunity for divine renewal. Write them all down. And as you begin to release all of these losses from your system, you begin to realize that perceived loss is eternal and it walks hand in hand with love, beauty, and renewal. Through acknowledgement and sacred ceremony, we begin to re-enable the eternal flow of divine source energy through ourselves and for Gaia herself, through our lineages, through our families, through our interconnectivity, we begin to restore the soul of the world And in our diamond and through our connection with our highest self, we actually build a core strength that holds us through this process, that takes us deeper and higher and wider in respect of our presence than we have perhaps been able to experience before. So when you have finished your writing, you put down your pen upon the table and you pick up the sheet of paper and you fold it and you make your way to a sacred ceremonial place and space that has been created for all of us joining here today, at this moment, at this time. And this sacred ceremonial ground is a healing place. And we come together in our diamonds as we find ourselves in a grove that is surrounded by trees, magnificent ethereal trees and flowers and objects and aspects of nature, the likes of which we have not even seen manifest on this planet. For the process of evolution is a creative one, and in our participation with it, we support the flow and the manifestation of new and evolved forms of life, including human life. So in this grove that is surrounded by beautiful vegetation, you see a central circle, and upon the ground within this central circle is imprinted and shimmering the living light code, which is here to assist us today, called cycles. And you see in the center a bowl of living sunshine, of holy fire, with rays emanating out in the different colors, in orange and yellow, some short, some long. And in your diamonds you take up your place and space on the arms or on the circle around this light code, so that we all connect as facets of the divine diamond grid around this code and in this ceremonial space. You hold within your hand your testimonial of loss and grief, that which you are prepared to release and sacrifice from your system. Just stand for a moment as you connect with the energy of this code as it touches each one of us. And as you connect with everybody else in the circle, you experience the flow and the emotion of loss and grief that runs through this circle. There is an honoring of the sacredness of this process from each and every one of you. And each in our diamonds, we are facets of the ultimate diamond fabric of creation itself. And we stand in our grief surrounded by beauty that is overwhelming. And just for this moment, you hold that space between the two. And from the center of the light code now, that glowing, living, miniature sun that burns in front of you as a source of power, emerges a white form. And that white form is the powerful presence of the white buffalo spirit, guardian. And as she emerges from this holy fire, you gaze in awe at the strength and the power and the beauty that she holds and that she represents for us. And in her spirit, she is able to project that form into a multitude of different embodiments. So you see one white buffalo becoming multiple white buffaloes standing in the center of this incredible code structure of light. And each one of the white buffaloes so created holds a fragment or a message from the incredible, powerful energy of White Buffalo Calf Woman, and she holds a message just for you. So for each one of you surrounding now in this circle, there is a white buffalo that moves out of the center towards you. And she holds a holy space between the heaven and earth as a cosmic stabilizer. And you are in awe of the strength and stability of this presence. And it is her power and her gift that enables us to hold our own strength and the polarities between beauty and grief and loss. And for each one of you now, she stands in front of you and gazes into your eyes and holds up that powerful head with that enormous brain. With the strength of her body, you feel your own strength being gifted and stabilized. And through her eyes, she transmits her message for you specifically. And you listen or absorb, could be transmitted telepathically. And the magnificent white buffalo is also a healer. And she reminds us of the eternal nature and the sacred hoop of life itself. And she brings with her as she stands before you the gift of healing. So allow her, as part of your renewal, to share the healing energy with you. And there is an eternal figure-8 loop that connects you with her just for this moment. And as you breathe, the energy moves from her and into you, into your body, into your soul, into your mind. And whatever healing it is, that is needed for you right now. Allow yourself to simply receive. And her messages and communication with you become amplified and stronger as the healing takes place within the very levels of your energetic beingness. You are stronger than you realize. And White Buffalo turns now and she invites you, together with your paper that you have inscribed upon, she invites you to follow her towards the center of the code and the cauldron of fire. And with each step that you take as you follow her along the rays or the arms of the code is a growing strength that she shares with you. And you near the center of this living holy fire, and you deliver all that you have lost as an act of sacrifice for the renewal of your own soul and the soul of the world. You deliver it to the central fire of this code, of this structure. And as each one of you does this, just be very aware of how your body responds, how you feel. What's happening with your thinking, with your thoughts, with your sense of beingness and your sense of presence. And as you release your loss and the losses of the world, you connect with this sacred fire, and a spark is given to you, a spark of renewal that you bring back and place into your heart. And you allow the flame to flow and pulse with your heartbeat through your body, filling up all of the spaces where you have now sacrificed parts of yourself through holding on to grief or loss, holding on to dreams that were perhaps not yours. And in the process of this flame moving through your body, it ignites and re-energizes the dreams of your soul. That which you were born to do, that which your soul longs for. So allow yourself in this moment and in this space to become aware of the longing and the beauty of the dreams of your soul. It may be a reinforcement of dreams that you already had. It may be that there is a dream that you had long forgotten about. Let the flame ignite and bring you that clarity. And as the flame works its way throughout your body, it breaks up into multiple colors of the rainbow. So it's orange and gold and yellow and violet, as all of the empty spaces are filled and patterns are transmuted. And you become a living rainbow of divine light. And you look around at the circle, and every person connected in this circle is a living rainbow of light, refracted multitudes of times throughout the facets of each diamond, glowing and glistening brilliantly. And take a look around the circle and see if you become aware or if you can see or connect with the dreams that are beginning to be made manifest and take on form through each individual diamond. Can you hear the longings of each soul? Do you have messages that you can hear to share with anybody else on the call? And White Buffalo stands in front of you now and bows her head to the ground in acknowledgement of your sacred sacrifice, of your life experiences in physical form, and in honor of your soul's journey on this earth, and all that you do for the renewal of the planetary soul. And you step back from the center as she steps back into it and merges again into one consolidated form, a pure and brilliant white light, an aspect of the holy fire that you now carry. That infinity loop that connected you with her in the beginning remains active, so you can call on her for support, strength, and wisdom, and assistance whenever you need it. And this she promises you as she once more becomes part of the cauldron of fire. And you turn now from this space and you see in front of you a doorway that leads through the trees and the natural surroundings. It's an open doorway, beyond which is the most incredible white light, a cosmic light. And in the purification and renewal that you have experienced, you stand now, you move towards the doorway, and the light is so bright that what lies beyond the light is unknown, is obscured. And you are being asked to trust in the guidance of your own highest self as you journey onwards across this threshold. So stand at the threshold now and just allow yourself to come into resonance with this amazing light. This is a light that ultimately burns bright within you, that is the light of your spirit, the light of your eternal self. And the light that's emanating enters your system, your energy fields, and your frequencies begin to adjust and raise to come into a level of harmony with this light. And there will be a period of 3 days of stillness as the energies are held, allowing you to complete the recalibration. So through the new moon and for the next 3 days, I recommend that you actually spend some time in this stillness being aware of the adjustment, the recalibration of your energies. For in 3 days' time, when the sun in its physical expression begins its journey once more, you cross the threshold into this elevated frequency and you begin the journey into a new part of the cycle. So the work that we begin today will continue. And even as you cross the threshold, that journey will continue. As we move towards the first gap day of our Gregorian year, and we re-engage with a different and a renewed dance with our spirit. But in the stillness of the next 3 days, allow what is being reignited, what is being clarified and restored within you to emerge. Keep your journal handy. Call on White Buffalo if you need extra strength or assistance, and make notes of what is arising for you through the process. For this is a part of the celebration of life itself, is the journey through each one of the cycles and its transitions. And you stand in front of this doorway and at the threshold, feeling your body increasing in frequency, increasing in light, and increasing in resonance, and increasing in purity. For you are also absorbing the enhanced cosmic rays and cosmic connections being pulsed into our planetary sphere. And just become aware in this space before we return that in the raising of your frequencies, there is a transmission of that renewal and of that harmonic, the new harmonic, through your Earth star and into the planet. So just connect through your Earth star now with the voice of Gaia and hear what she has to say and share with you on this threshold. And take a deep breath in as your consciousness begins to return to its normal beta state, or wakeful state. And this doorway is being held open for you. So in 3 days' time, I would suggest that you revisit this space and you take that step across the threshold into the emerging new light. But be aware that over the 3 days there may be some cathartic releasing, and I would suggest that you perhaps take Epsom salt baths. Allow yourself to do and to be whatever you are guided towards in order to assist and support this ongoing recalibration. You may already be given some wisdom that is relevant for you. Take a deep breath in, and as you return, you're aware that you are returning with something new. It may be tangible, or it may be something that you actually have no tangible fix on just at this moment, that you can't grasp hold of, but you know that that shift has taken place within you. And another deep breath in as you send throughout the circle of gathered souls and diamonds an honoring and a thank you for their strength and presence and participation in this process. And you hold your diamond form as you take one final deep breath in, and you remain connected to the cosmic and to the earth through your diamond, and return. And we have a note from Rashida in the chat room who says, I'm back, and this was very peaceful and loving. Yes, it was. It's a beautiful space of uh, there is an intensely deep recalibration happening. And the more peaceful we are through that process, the more easily that recalibration and the more deeply that recalibration can actually take place. We are actually moving into a space and a place across this threshold where we will be, um, what's the word? Reviving. We will be reviving our soul's dreams and our soul's longing. And that which we feel we have worked so hard for the past number of years is going to begin to be realized as we enter into this new space. There's a very powerful, positive pull from the future that's actually drawing us into this new space. Um, so it's kind of like saying everything that you've been through, everything that you have done, has all been moving you, part of the journey bringing you towards this point. And all that we are doing is part and parcel of the renewal of the world. And there is a very, very powerful sense of that renewal that's beginning. But we're going to see the decay, and I think I've said this to you so many times before, for those of you who join in as well, is that part of your role is going to be as placeholders of the new energy to support people through their own grieving processes as they awaken and become part of the reconfiguration and the renewal. So our role is to be in that strong, powerful, peaceful, recalibrated space in order to be able to assist and support. Love and gratitude to you, Zulma. Thank you so much for taking part. Yeah, so that is in essence what we are doing. But the energy of white buffalo is just she is so powerful. So I really look forward to hearing, if you guys have again any messages or things that you would actually like to share, that would be truly wonderful. Are you all back? Colleen says, that was beautiful. I can feel my spine singing. Oh, isn't that lovely? Yeah, I was actually feeling the flow. It's not just a warmth or a glow. There's a flow of new energy, of new life that's actually beginning to move. Grief and loss was transformed into balance and harmony. Yes, absolutely. And I think so many people don't like to acknowledge that grief and loss is actually a natural part of the journey, of the process, and that it does walk hand in hand and side by side with the beauty and the depths and the heights of both are part and parcel of our expanding strength and presence. Beautiful. Thank you. Um, very, very loving. Did you guys get any messages from White Buffalo? But I think she was part of that healing. Oh, Angela came in late, but feel very powerful. Grace and peace. Lovely. Lovely to see you. So glad that you could make it. Even though it was late, you'll get the full recording. So, yeah, grace and peace. It is a continuation of that graceful space that we created through the events in November. Um, that is very much evident, even though it's been sort of quite intense in terms of wading through the most recent energies and the most recent influxes. Just by the way, as well, there was a barrage of M-class solar flares fired off from the sun again in the last few days. So we have it just astounds me how the timing of these releases from the sun is just very strongly aligned and synchronistic with the um, specific alignments and events that we actually participate in and recognize and acknowledge. So yeah, we have been bombarded with more energy through the sun. So I'll send you a copy of the Cycles Light Code as well. It might be nice for you to print off and keep in your space over the next few days. Let it remind you that this 3-day aspect of the cycle that you can then re-enter and walk through the doorway. I've got Isabel. Thank you. The light code was so powerful. The cleansing energy was just what I needed. Love the warmth and peace. I feel that too, very, very personally and very strongly, that there's a deep cleansing that's actually taken place. But I was aware of that emotionality and the grief actually starting to emerge this morning. So Isabel, thank you for sharing that. We've got Nancy and Pamela sharing something. I know it was quite a long process, but what you may like to do is also, thank you, Nancy. Well, thank you for being here. It's a lovely comment for the wonderful work you do to connect all of us. Do you know, without you all sort of listening to your heart's call and being a part of this, there would be nothing for me to do. So thank you for your soul contribution as well, because you support me in fulfilling my soul purpose, which is being renewed at the moment. There's many, many times when I've actually lost faith and doubted, but through not just through these processes, but through all of the work that we have done, and through this very now is through this process now, it's very re-energizing and it is renewing. Lovely, very deep, very calming. Yes, it was very calm. Just a really, really lovely, deep, expansive space to be in. So yeah, thank you all very much once again. What I was actually going to say to you is you may like to sort of almost recreate that process physically, where you take a sheet of paper and you write down physically, and then you build a fire. You create it as a sacred fire, have that intention when you create it, or you may even want to just do it with a candle Obviously, make sure that you're in a safe space because, of course, the thing for me with candles is at the heart of a candle flame, you actually get diamonds produced. You get nano diamonds produced and destroyed, pardon me, in nanoseconds at the heart of a candle flame. So that's just so beautiful in terms of using it as an analogy. So you may want to recreate that and then physically burn that paper and allow yourself to release the loss and grief. And as you feel the become aware of the flame burning the paper, become aware of that flame purging and releasing you from within and renewing that sense of self. So over the next 3 days, it may be something for you to benefit from and to repeat. Ali. Oh, lovely. That's what I did today. She says with real paper and fire really helped with the releasing. Yes, absolutely. And I would love to do it as a powerful, powerful in-person ceremony, but I'm also very, very aware of the power of the virtual work that we do within the Diamond Grid. So I know that what we've done today was also very powerful. Um, there's no doubt. So it would reinforce it for you by making it a physical exercise. And of course, with the new moon tomorrow, the new moon is a very, very important and powerful time for doing that because the dark moon is about releasing and clearing the way. So this 3 day threshold or this 3 day stillness that we have is just a perfect, perfect opportunity for that. So I really would suggest that it's a good idea. And I look forward to joining with you all again on the 1st of January, which is a gap day. I mean, I know it's the Gregorian calendar. I know it's not necessarily part of the natural cycles, but the gap day itself presents us with a fabulous opportunity to harness these and fan these flames that have begun to flow through us and to begin to really be inspired in the dance with our spirit. So that is really it. There's 11 days again, and I sort of hadn't realized it until I looked at everything and I checked out the gap days. There's 11 days between now and the 1st of January. So again, we have a wonderful, wonderful window of opportunity that we will move into 2015 with a brand new inspired energy, an inspired creativity that is peaceful at its core and yet burns and moves us in the right directions. That's kind of like the way that I'm sensing it. So it is peaceful at the core, which is what we've done at the moment. So, does anybody else have anything that they would like to share? I can't believe, again, how the time slipstreams when we do this work. That's just really beautiful. Well, I would like to invite you to share anything that you might want to share with the group. If you became aware of anything that you want to share with them, then please just drop me an email and I will send it out as I did with the previous one to the group. The recording will be available literally within an hour or two. I'll get it up and get a note out to you and to those who couldn't join us physically. They can at least continue their journey and join in on the solstice. Um, so yeah, I would just love to add my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to all of you for everything that you contribute to the diamond community, to making it what it is. And as I say, because you're a part of me being able to fulfill my soul purpose, and I hope that what we do as a community supports you in the fulfillment of your soul purpose and brings it into greater clarity and alignment for you. So I send you love. We've got a few more messages coming into the chat room. Oh, there we go. Barbara says, Took a long time to come back. Oh, welcome back, Barbara. It was very deep. I remembered lots of losses that I had forgotten. Yeah. And White Buffalo came and bowed her head, and it felt very loving and comforting. And I think that's it. You know, White Buffalo reminds us of that, those aspects of our humanity and our connection with the earth. And supports us with the strength through that while holding the cosmic connection as well solidly through her body. But she reminds us of the strength that is actually required in order to hold and to be this presence and this energy. It's a softness, a gentleness, a quiet, supportive, wonderful strength. Her energy is just, it's the first time I've really connected with her energy through this process. It was just beautiful, absolutely sacred. So I would like to, I'm going to formally complete the recording. I'm going to switch the recording button off and just say to you all, thank you so much for being a part of this again, to all of you, and I look forward to joining you on the 1st of January. And also to say, have a really special, peaceful, loving, supportive, festive holiday with friends, family, um, whoever you share it with. May it be blessed and sacred, understanding the real sacredness of this time, sort of, and looking through the illusion. This is part and parcel of what we're doing, is breaking down those veils of illusion, looking through the illusion. Yeah, it is a stunning passage that we are in right now. So, yeah, thank you, everybody. I'm going to end the recording.